Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Strange Days True Crime, where we look at stories of unsolved disappearances, murders, and unidentified in the hopes that one day they'll be solved. The strange unsolved disappearance of Jessica Stacks. On June 11th of 1992, in Holga, Mississippi, Kathy Jones and Jerry Swenner welcomed a beautiful baby girl named Jessica Nicole Swenner Stacks. Jessica would grow up and would then go on to graduate from Itawamba Community College. Jessica loved the outdoors, fishing, was a good girl, and loved by her family and friends. Later on, Jessica would meet and marry Jacob Stacks, and the pair would have 3 children together, 2 sons and a daughter, but would later divorce. After this, Jessica would meet a man by the name of Jerry Baguette, and Jessica and Jerry would begin dating while living in New Albany, Mississippi. Things were not always good in the relationship between Jessica and Jerry, who had an on and off relationship. Sources stated that Jerry was physically abusive towards Jessica, but Jessica never reported any of the abuse to the authorities. Jessica's mother, Kathy, never approved of the relationship due to the abuse and the age gap, as Jessica was only 28 years old and Jerry was 45. Sources stated that Jessica had also gotten mixed up with drugs. On January 1st of 2021, Jessica and Jerry were said to have been headed out to the Little Tallahatchie River, where they would launch a boat, which belonged to a friend of Jerry's, into the river and float downstream, while hunting for wild hogs and deer, which were stranded on the high grounds on the river bottom from flooding. It was stated that the couple put the boat into the river at a bridge at County Road 46 in Union County. However, there was no motor on the boat and no oars, so Jerry had planned to use a shovel to steer the boat. The plan was to float for some time, and when they were done, they would call a friend to come pick them up. It was also stated that Jessica would leave her phone with a friend of Jerry's named Willie Stinson, so that they could contact him when they were finished, and it was planned that Willie would pick them up at the Rocky Ford Bridge near Highway 30. However, things didn't go as planned. Jessica was reported missing on January 1st of 2021 around 10:15 p.m. by Jerry. According to Jerry, he told police that about 2 miles downstream, Jessica asked to be let out of the boat, as the boat had begun to take on water and the river was flowing faster than normal due to heavy rains and flooding in the area. He stated that he pulled the boat onto a sandbar on the north side of the river to empty the water from the boat when he and Jessica got into an argument, and she said she was going to walk back to County Road 46. Jerry stated that he got back in the boat and it started to float downstream before Jessica could get back in, and he last saw Jessica walking along the sandbar heading towards Highway 30, which was about 1 mile away, before he lost sight of her. When police headed to the area where Jerry said he had last seen Jessica to search for her, they found a pair of gloves, a coat, a pair of size 6 or 7 rubber boots that had the tops cut off of them, and some footprints which police said they followed for about 100 yards west along the riverbank. It was believed that the articles of clothing belonged to Jessica, but it was unclear what she was last seen wearing on that day. Police said the footprints disappeared into some standing water in a nearby flooded field, before police had found the boots Jerry had stated that Jessica had cut off the tops of her boots because they were rubbing on her leg and bothering her. The boat was later found upstream, and inside the boat was Jessica's purse and keys. The search for Jessica ended around 2 a.m., but would resume the next morning. Sheriff Edwards stated that they were unable to use divers immediately as the waters were still too high from the floods. However, they used drones with thermal imaging to search the area, along with the search and rescue teams. By the following day, on January 2nd, Jessica's mother, Kathy, knew something was terribly wrong, as it was Jessica's autistic brother's 15th birthday, and Jessica never showed up, and Kathy had stated that Jessica would never miss her brother's birthday. A few days later, on January 9th, police used 6 divers to search as the flooding had subsided, along with cadaver dogs from Huntsville, Alabama, to aid in the search. ATVs and Mississippi Wildlife and Fisheries would also help with the search for Jessica. August of 2021, investigators alongside with the Army Corps of Engineers built berms across Sardis Lake, which is where the river drains into, in an effort to use excavators to dig and search the area, which did not turn up any new leads. Police were unable to locate 28-year-old Jessica Stacks. On November 6th, Jessica's family set up a search to look for Jessica and started their own investigation into the disappearance of Jessica, as they believed that foul play was involved. Sometime between 5:30 and 6 a.m. on the morning that Jessica disappeared, Jerry can be seen on surveillance video at the Poolville Quick Stop in a truck with a boat on a trailer behind. The video also shows a passenger in the truck when the passenger opens the door, but no one gets out, and it was never confirmed to be Jessica, even though Jerry claimed that it was. Jessica's family does not believe that it was her in the truck that was seen on surveillance footage that morning, and that it was just made to look like Jessica was there when she was not. The family also does not believe that Jessica was in the boat that day, as the story Jerry tells does not make sense to them. Even stranger was, why did Jerry wait so long after his last contact with Jessica to report her missing? This has also been a troubling part of the story. On Sunday, January 1st of 2023, Jessica's family held a remembrance vigil in honor of her, in which family and friends released lanterns into the sky and sent candles floating down the river in Jessica's memory. Sources stated that 6 months prior to when Jessica started dating Jerry, that his previous girlfriend had been found dead of an apparent overdose. In February of 2023, Jerry would speak with reporters about Jessica's disappearance, but this time his story would now change about the events of that day. Jerry told reporters that he was never in a boat on the river that day with Jessica, stating that neither himself nor Jessica could swim, and that in fact he had last seen Jessica a few days before she went missing. Jerry even stated that on the day Jessica went missing, he was at work. This information was reported to Sheriff Edwards, who stated the evidence would be taken to the district attorney. However, due to the interview not being with police, it was uncertain whether or not the information would impact the case. Jessica's mother, Kathy, believes the police have ignored evidence in her daughter's case, and that if someone would look at the evidence she has, investigators would know something happened to Jessica. At this time, investigators and the district attorney do not believe there to be enough evidence to move forward to prove there was a crime committed. Kathy says even though Jessica and Jerry had been dating for some time, Jerry has not once reached out to her or contacted her. Kathy stated it was Jerry's daughter who brought Jessica's things back to her. Since Jessica's disappearance, there have been many theories about what may have happened to the young mother. One is that Jessica disappeared on purpose to escape her abusive relationship with Jerry, but Jessica's family say she would never have left her children. Other theories include Jessica's body being down a well, fed to hogs, and buried in the woods somewhere, but none of these have been proven. A story would later come out from Barbie Floyd, who was a friend of Jessica's, and Barbie had stated that she knew of what happened to Jessica. Barbie stated that Jessica had been at her home and had helped her take down the Christmas tree, and Barbie had given Jessica a clean needle, as she stated they were doing lots of drugs at the time. On December 31st, Jessica, along with Jerry and Jerry's friend Billy Jack Rogers, came to her home to do drugs. Barbie said the three left her home sometime on the early morning of January 1st, but heard Billy come running back to her home, and she stated she heard him say, "That didn't mean you had to kill her." After this, Barbie said they left, and she noticed her dad's shovels were gone, and there was blood on the porch. Barbie stated that they killed Jessica on her back porch and then put her in the lake across the street from her home. Barbie believed that they came back a few weeks after and moved Jessica's body deeper into the woods. Barbie would take her story to the police, but they did not listen or believe her because of her history of drug use. Sheriff Edwards stated that at some point Jerry had agreed to take a polygraph test, but would not say as to whether or not Jerry showed signs of deception during the test, as it may jeopardize the case if it were to ever go to trial. Jessica's family is still missing her every day and is looking for answers as to what happened to Jessica. At the time of Jessica's disappearance, she was 28 years old, standing 5 foot 4 inches tall, weighing around 110 to 115 pounds, with green eyes and blonde hair. Jessica has her nose, tongue, and ears pierced, along with several tattoos. She has a tribal tattoo on her lower back, a Playboy bunny with Lil Sis wrote underneath on her left pelvis, a butterfly beside her thumb on her right hand, love on her calf, Kaylee on her back, Braden on her wrist, and Kobe on her forearm with a puzzle piece. If you have any information about Jessica's case, please contact the Union County Sheriff's Office at 662-534-1943, and please help bring Jessica home to her family. Well, that's it for this case. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of these strange days we live in.